when it decides to load. There we go. Hi, everybody. So welcome back to the MC Real Life Chat podcast. I have been promoting that we do have UK-Craigie over here, who I've been speaking to for a little while, just about getting him on. He's, I'm right in saying, an upcoming singer or rapper.
Yeah, like a hip hop artist, like rap with a little bit of singing there, but mostly hip hop.
Yeah. So to be fair, I listened, as I say, to the songs that are on YouTube, so I'll be showing them in a sec, guys. But yeah, you have wrote some really good stuff, and it's obviously about mental health as well, which is really good. So as per usual, if you could introduce yourself, let us know a little bit about you, and then we can go from there.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much. First of all, thank you for having me. I've been watching the channel since it blossomed, and I've been watching it grow. And yeah, you should be really proud of yourself. So I'm UK-Craigie. I'm a 31 hip hop artist with a love of, as you can probably tell behind me, guitar, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, guitar instrumentals. I make music about the struggles that we all go through with life, mental health, depression. And yeah, I've had a ridiculous 12 to 18 months where things have just kind of like blown up beyond all expectations, really. So I'm just really riding the wave, and I'm lucky enough to be here with people like yourself and looking forward to the chat. So thank you once again for having me.
Oh, no worries, no worries. Well, guys, obviously, as I said to UK-Craigie over here, I've not done this before, so hopefully it works, but we'll soon find out. Excellent. Let's have a look. So share screen do. Right, okay, so I know it's really small, guys, so I apologise, but this is UK-Craigie's YouTube page, so I'm hoping that it will play the sound, fingers crossed, but one of the ones that I did listen to and I have been listening to is this one, about the anxious one, because I have anxiety myself, so just turn it down. I'm hoping people can hear it, so... Can you actually hear it?
I can't hear it at the minute.
You said you can't hear it?
No, not
I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen to me. How can I do this? Right, am I going to have to share it as a video file instead? I knew this was going to happen.
What you could do is just like play the beat on your end, and you could rap the lyrics.
Do you know what? No chance of us singing on this. Do you know what I'll just do? I'll just do it on my phone, because I have it saved on my phone anyway. So
good stuff. Oh, I love you. Thank you very much. That's good.
I know. To be fair, as I say, I listened to them all the other night, and I'm like, oh my god! Like on one of them, I'm like tearing up a bit, to be honest.
Thank you. That is good feedback, to be fair. Thank you very much.
I don't know if that's great feedback. Yeah, you made me cry, but but yeah, I listened to all three of them. I'm never normally on my phone, guys, but as I say, like, me and technology are not the best of friends at the moment.
I will gladly be your guinea pig. You're smashing it.
It's just technology. I normally think I'm quite good at this stuff, but apparently not. Oh, here we go.
Nailed it.
There we go. I'm going to try not to cry.
You feel life's pressure daily, but you still try your best. Anxiety hits you, feel that pain in your chest. Bills keep piling up, you see a couple overdue, and you hide yourself away from the people who care for you. You don't want to face the world, who cares if it's nearly 4? These are coping mechanisms because you've been here before. With new senses, don't want to end up in nooses. Today we cannot quit, even to our hopelessness. Every day we try, but we still can't cope. Got tears in our eyes, trying to provide, be the best for our family. But if this doesn't work, honestly, there's no plan B. Every year our body's getting older. Winter in the air, the world is getting colder. Can't give up the fight until it's all over, but there's so much pressure on my fucking shoulders. Every year we're getting older. Winter in the air, the world keeps getting colder. Can't give up the fight.
I'm holding myself together quite well.
So much pressure on my fucking shoulders, hey. And you need a little break cause you're feeling so alone tonight. Hey, you got a heart full of love, but you're feeling so empty inside. Yeah. If anxiety grips you, feeling the pain of this daily life.
So I'm gonna stop it there because I think the ending is the bit that I cried on. Right, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. We don't need to be seeing you cry, right?
Don't need to. It took me like 30 minutes to do my makeup, right? So no, I'm only joking. But no, guys, obviously, please go on his YouTube. It is under UK-Craigie, but it is really good. As I say, even the lyrics there, like I literally will sit there and just read the lyrics as the music's playing, and I'm like, oh my god, it hits so much.
I appreciate that.
But no, obviously, I did have a couple questions. I didn't want to, I know I sent them over. I don't know if you managed to have a look, but they are just pretty basic. But normally what happens is when we have a conversation, more and more questions come up anyway.
Yeah,
so I think the first one is kind of what made you start making music?
Okay, so basically I suffer with something called dyspraxia, and I'm like pretty much on the autistic spectrum, and I really struggled to cope with that as a kid. Like I really didn't understand myself, and I was about 15 years old. I was having a tough time in school, like with teachers. They didn't really understand. They thought I was like, they used to call me slow and lazy and stuff like that. So it just came from a place of frustration, and hip hop was always my escape. Like I heard Kanye West's first album, and it blew my mind. Like the sounds, the feeling, the emotion, and it was like a light switch went off in my head. So I gave it about 5 years. I was writing. I didn't really intend for it to go anywhere, but I was writing a lot of poetry and writing a lot of stories just to escape my own head, really. And then 20 years old, I got this microphone that was absolutely terrible. It cost me like $5. And like I got some free software called Audacity, and I just
remember that.
beats off YouTube, and I used to think I was the man. Like I didn't know anything about what I was doing. I just turned the vocals up to the maximum, and I'd just make this awful, dreadful sound, and it was horrendous. Honestly, I don't know how any of my friends didn't sound like, Craig, this is really bad, but I persevered with it. So then I was learning for like 4 years or so. My daughter was born, my eldest daughter Lily, and it again ignited another fire. And I thought, if I'm going to do this, let's take it seriously. So I went back to college. I studied music. I re-educated myself, and we find ourselves where we are today. Really, like I say, the last 12-18 months have been crazy. I've been in the local paper back home. I've been doing stuff with Australia. I've been doing stuff in America. I've been doing stuff here. So yeah, from like that kind of start to where we are now is crazy. But that's where it started. That's where it stemmed from. It was just a way to cope and a way to handle my own mental health, really.
Yeah. And I think, do you know what? You are a prime example of dreams can actually come true. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember when I was young, I was like, oh, I just want to be famous. Or do you know what I mean? Like, you grow up like that, but you are spot on. Like, music is an escape. And I've been on guests on other podcasts, and, I actually got asked, how do you think music helps mental health? And, even now, like, listening to your music, as I say, like, listening, like, the way that I do it is if I'm sad, I will listen to sad music because I want to make myself cry. Do you know what I mean? To kind of get it out the way. And I think, yours isn't sad music, but it really does hit a nerve when you need it to. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. Yeah.
But no, like 100%, obviously, congratulations. I know it was probably a few years ago now, but congratulations on your daughter, obviously.
Thank you very much. Cheers. I appreciate that.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, do you know what, as I say, everything that you've said already is just incredible. Like, for it to be like 12-18 months and you're doing all of this stuff is amazing.
It's been wild.
Don't forget that, you came on here.
I love it will be a pleasure. I mean, even coming back on, obviously, like it all stemmed from I released an album last year called I Can't Sleep, and obviously because we were like bang in the middle of a lockdown, and it just seemed to resonate with people because it's the kind of music I like to say that I make the kind of music that I would want when I was younger. I try and be the kind of person that I would need when I was 15 and 16 and like crying out for help, but it was misunderstood or so I dropped this album called I Can't Sleep, and it just went crazy. Like BBC Merseyside, all sorts. We picked it up all over the place. And then, like where I am now, I'm creating my next album, which is, I think, due to drop in about September.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd love to come back on. We can definitely have another chat. We can definitely schedule
Yes,
that. That'd be great.
definitely, especially when that's coming out soon. I do have to ask, right? Whereabouts are you actually from?
So originally, I'm from about 7 miles outside of Manchester, a place called Oldham.
Yeah,
And
I know that.
I live now in a place called New Brighton, which is like right by the seaside, not far from Liverpool, like just over the water there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason I ask is I lived in Southport.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so I live up in Scotland now, but I used to live in Southport. When I was like listening to you there, I was like, his accent seems really familiar. It's nice.
We could have
It's
practically
nice.
been neighbours.
I know. To be fair, I don't think anything's really changed in Southport. If I'm not gonna lie. But New Brighton sounds lovely. It's near the sea. Do you know what I mean? Oh,
no, it's great. It really is.
Yeah. So obviously, you kind of have mentioned it briefly, but one of the questions that I had was, when you did have this idea of making music, what kind of went in your mind to do it relating to mental health rather than just every other, hip hop artist that just does it about anything and everything?
I'm with you. Like growing up, a lot of hip hop was like, oh, look at my jewelry, look at my girls, look at my watch, look at my guns, look at my, and a lot of the music that comes out of this country is very gang related. We have a lot of grime and we have a lot of, a lot of violence inspired by the music. I've just always found I found this love of acoustic guitar and this love of electric guitar, and I just found like pouring my feelings out over the top of them just sounded so good and was so therapeutic for me. So this really works. Like I say, the music that I make purely to deal with the problems that I face, which is why it was such a surprise when it resonated so much with people and everyone was like, I really enjoy this. I was like, wow, I thought it would just be like, me and my kids just jamming out, like listening to it, listen to Dad's new song. And now like I've got this reach all over the place. I've got like this really crazy, I hosted a radio show for about 12 months and I've got this like really crazy pocket of like Zambian fans, like in Africa, Zambia, the country. It's just wild. So like I get emails and Facebook requests and messages and stuff. It's mad. So it's been one hell of a journey. I'm just enjoying every second of it. But yeah, that's what inspires that. What inspires the music that's so personal is it really helps me. It really helps me. And I do a lot of work with kids. I do a lot of volunteering, like in youth clubs and teaching children how to write songs and how to use music to deal with their emotions. And I tend to find that because the music that I make is hip hop and it is popular and it does resonate with children and teenagers. It gives me such a fulfillment. It's great.
And I think as well, what's nice is kind of, as you said, you've been keeping an eye on the page, a lot of the last couple of weeks has been to do with men's mental health and men not being able to kind of express their mental health. And the fact that you've just said, you making the music that you're making allows you to express your own mental health. I think that's such a good way of doing it. And also it means that other people can express it as well in their own individual ways, which I think is really good.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just helping in my own little way, helping break down the stigma, which doesn't exist as much as it used to do. Of like, you're a man, you've got to be strong, and you can't complain and you can't moan. And then I moan for 80 minutes continuously, just do it rhythmically, and people love it. So I'm just helping to end that kind of stigma, and like in my own little way, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it literally does take everyone to end stigma. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna lie. Still up in Scotland, the stigma with men's mental health is really, really big, right? And I'm hoping at some point the stigma behind that will just disappear. And it is kind of people like you, even though your music is obviously you're based down in England, getting that music to enough people and people actually sat there going, right, okay, this person's doing it in their own individual way. Maybe I can do the same is amazing. Obviously, I have put, did you find any challenges when first starting your music career?
The challenges that I faced were more my own doing. So feelings of low self-worth, feeling of low self-importance. Can I do this? Am I good enough? Is anyone going to be bothered? Will anyone take me seriously? So the challenges that I tend to face are my own making.
In
really.
here.
I mean, even now, yeah, exactly. Like I've done all these fantastic things and I still sometimes wake up and go, is it any good though? And like, I know that it is and I know that it's great, but still some days I'll wake up and be like, geez, this is difficult. This is a slog. So I think that we all face problems like that. I mean, one of the ways that I combat that, like my whole thing, I don't know whether you noticed in the videos, but everything that I make, aside from a little bit of the guitar, which I work with a fella from California called Ryan, and he plays a lot of the guitar in my songs, everything is self-produced. The music videos are self-made. I mix and master my own songs. I record everything from in here. So I try and teach people that you can attain it. This thing that they try and sell you, that the only people who ever make anything of themselves as a rapper are people like Drake or people like, you know, Jay-Z or Eminem. If you're not one of those, you can't do anything. I try and break that down, and like this myth that you've got to be somebody living in a mansion with 17, you know, big diamond chains. It's not like that. People relate to everyday people, and I think that there is a spot for everybody, and not just in music. It could be anything. It could be, I always say, just be passionate about what you do. It could be anything. It could be music. You could write screenplays. You could act. You could do what you're doing. You could collect stamps. You could do anything, but as long as you're passionate about it, like that's it. As long as it gives you that reason to wake up in the morning and that reason to smile, and even on your worst days, you can, you know that you're gonna kick the crap out of life that day, and you're gonna really do your thing. I think that's so important.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, you've got it spot on. Like, I'm exactly the same, right? I doubt myself to the point where sometimes I'll put myself off. And it is such a big thing that so many people deal with, you know, like, obviously me doing this podcast, when I first started, I had those doubts. I was like, oh my God, like there's so many podcasts out there for mental health and all this stuff. What's going to make mine different? And, you know, taking it every day, and as I say, getting different people on. And for me, the podcast was a way of release, just like you're saying your music is. Like, I literally started it pretty much after a breakup, and I was like, do you know what? I'm not just going to concentrate just on mental health. I want to do it about every real life problem that people go through. So, you know, self-doubt definitely is a big one that a lot of people face. And I think what's really nice to hear is you did have those doubts, but you pushed through it. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It is lovely. Obviously, one of the questions I put on here is, what advice would you give to someone who has big dreams like yourself, but is too scared to make the jump?
Just do it. Like, I tend to live my life and do things that are a little bit like, make myself stand out, really. So like, you'll notice my hair, I shave both sides of my hair and just rock it like this. I have kids go, oh my God, that's a mullet, at least 5 times a week. It's incredible. Like, you know, just do it. Anything that you're scared of doing is probably an indication that you should try it, and take baby steps. You know, take baby steps to do it. You don't have to do everything all at once. And if, you know, we live in that much of an era now where you have so much, like, you can be so anonymous if you choose to be, that you can easily be doing that. And there are so many people that you could work with and collaborate with if you wanted to get into music. The internet is incredible. I've made music with people from all over the world, just over, you know, emails and sending over session files and MP3s and everything else. So my biggest piece of advice would be just to do it. If it scares you and you're worried that people won't accept you, then life has this really wonderful way of separating those who are supposed to be in your life and those who aren't supposed to be in your life anyway. And maybe it'll be great. Maybe you'll suck. Maybe you'll be like me. Maybe you'll start and you'll think, this is horrendous. Like, this is dreadful. But if you push through it, I always say to my kids, like, when you start anything, you're going to suck. Everybody does, unless you're like one of those amazingly lucky people who can pick up anything and like, oh, I'm great. Like, you know, they pick up a pen and like, look at this I've just drawn. I only learned how to draw 5 minutes ago and it looks incredible. Like, I hate those people.
I was just going to say that. I was like, I hate those people.
So yeah, that would be my only advice, was if you start something, you're going to suck for a while. Persevere, and you'll end up having the time of your life. And that applies to anything that you want to do in life. Like I've said before, you can do anything. You start a podcast, start a band, collect some stamps, collect loads of like weird coins from the past, whatever you want to do. Digging up stuff in your garden, looking for treasure, whatever you want to do, enjoy it, and you'll have the time of your life.
Yeah, I don't think my mum would be too happy if I started digging up my garden likes. I'm not going to lie.
Fair, yeah, that was pretty obscure, that one.
Yeah, disclaimer, kids, if you are watching, do not dig up your parents' garden, right? We will not cover the costs of that.
Yes, yeah,
But no, to be fair, what you said there reminded me of a quote, and it said, if your dreams don't scare you, your dreams aren't big enough.
Yes.
And it really does link with exactly what you said. And it is so true. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm in a basic job at the moment. I do my podcast on my days off. You know, I do uni on the side. I am pretty much your normal everyday person. But see, like, obviously when I started my podcast, I wanted to get into acting, I wanted to get into music and etc. And you know, I did actually say to my mum, because I'm back living with my parents, unfortunately, but that's another story. But no, like, I think with all of that, I actually did sit down with my mum and I was like, am I spreading myself too thin with all the stuff that I'm doing? And she said to me, she was like, only you will know that. She was like, but you need to make sure that you put everything into what you're doing and not put only 10% into loads of different things. And I think, you know, exactly what you were saying. I did start to doubt myself. Like, the page on here became quiet. Like, obviously I had my weekly podcast still, but I wasn't able to promote as much. And you know, it does get like that. And I think, as you say, you just got to get on with it and get it done.
Absolutely. I think that's always a danger as well. When you start having those thoughts, if you don't start to push through and make progress, then you can easily end up living in your own head for a week, for a month. A month can turn into 3 months, and 3 months can turn into 6 months. And if you're anything like me, if you started down that path, I've done it before, you just end up fully self-sabotaging. And every bit of good work that you've done, you know, if you struggle with mental health like I do, like you do, all that good work, you could just unravel it all and shoot yourself in the foot. So it's so important to keep going, to keep positive. I have a couple of things I like to do on the side as well. I help out on my local amateur football club. I'm like on the, you know, the board of directors there. I run like the media. It's really cool because like they've got this clubhouse and we've just got the mixing decks fixed. So I like, as long as I don't bother anyone and give anyone any extra work, I can just do whatever I want. But that's so fulfilling. And I found like since I've been helping there, it helps so much with writer's block because I have another creative outlet. Like I'm not obsessed to the point where I'm listening to a piece of music like I need to write some lyrics. I need, like, if I'm doing that, I can just head for a walk, go down to the football club, help out there, do something, and it's amazing. It's done so much for me. So that's something I'd really encourage people to do. Like, have the main thing that you're obsessed with, that you want to do, that is your life goal and your life ambition, but definitely have something on the side that provides you some happiness. I think that's it for me. I'm not overly materialistic. Like, as long as I'm comfortable, as long as there are a few beers and maybe a pizza in the fridge, I'm all right. You know, the kids are happy, the clothes, they're happy. You know, we can go places. There's a bit of cash in the bank. I've never been one of those who's like, and I think, to be fair, I think that's where a lot of musicians fail because they're seduced by the glitz and the glamour, and they're seduced by what they see on the TV. They see the Grammy Awards and they see the Brit Awards over here and stuff, and they see like the X Factor and Simon Cowell churning out these bands, and they think, wow, that could be me. And then after like 5 years, because it's hard, and when you're like, wow, I've made like 64p this week off music, this is great. Like, those people tend not to last. Whereas I'm coming into like my 10th year of recording music. So, you know, I think you've just got to chase things that make you happy, definitely.
Yeah, and as you say, it is perseverance. You know, you've clearly stuck with it, as you say, for 10 years. Do you know what I mean? No, do you know what? As I say, you're spot on. Like, obviously, the people that we see on the TV and we see releasing music all the time, they are quite money obsessed and they are obsessed with that fame. And I think that's also, it's quite sad because obviously I've been watching things. I don't know if you heard about obviously Demi Lovato a few years ago. I think she tried to commit suicide. And she had a program on YouTube about basically all the stuff that she'd gone through. And you know what? We're looking at these people on TV going, oh God, I wish I could be like them, or I wish I could be in that position. But see, watching like behind the scenes where they're saying, I was so stressed, I got addicted to drugs, I got, you know, just to get through every day. So like, it does make you sit back and go, do you know what? The glitz and the glam looks great, but if that's what's going to come of it, then it's not worth it. Do you know what I mean?
No, you're completely right. I think as well, what we tend to do is we one, always tend to think the grass is greener on the other side. Two, we look at people's lives through like Instagram filters, and we see like,
Yep.
you know, the Kardashians live this perfect life, and you know, and everything else that goes on. You look at all the people. Look at Britney Spears and the breakdown that she had throughout everything that went on. Look at Whitney Houston, what happened to her, Amy Winehouse. You know, we could sit here
Yep.
all day listing people. You know, so
Yep.
I think that's it, and I think that it comes from the media really do like to shove down your throats, especially for girls. I never noticed until I had daughters, but the pressure on young girls from a very young age. You've got all these magazines. This is how you should look. This is how you should dress. The Kardashians are perfect. Why have you not had your lips done? Like every piece of media, it almost feels is designed to make young women feel self-conscious. And I find that insane. So I think that we're just breeding a nation of unhappiness, and we obsess over these people. And I wish we were like that. And I just wish that we could sit down with those people and say, you know, you're fine. Don't worry.
Yeah.
About it. You're okay.
And I think, you're kind of spot on. Obviously, ow. I just hit my knee on the table. How unprofessional is that? Ow.
Right.
No, so you're kind of spot on. Obviously, I'm coming up 23 now, and you know, as you say, I am on social media a lot. I do look on Instagram, and you know, it's also the fact of I don't know. Every guy is not the same, so I'm not going to sit here and say that they are.
Yeah.
But see, nowadays, guys they're like, oh, this is how I want a girl to be. I want them to be blonde or brunette. I want them to, and I'm like, it's not Build-A-Bear. You don't get to build us. Like, do you know what I mean? But
you needed some sound effects for that bomb you just dropped. Just
I know.
Wow.
I don't know how to get the sound on these things, so we'll just leave it, right?
No, that was great. That was spot on, Megan. You are completely right.
To be fair, there was another version of that, but I thought I would be good. It's got a swear word in the other one, but we'll go with Build-A-Bear. So basically, you know, it was this idea, and you know, I'm going to be doing a podcast in a couple of weeks about body image anyway.
Yeah.
But you know, there's this idea that girls shouldn't have stretch marks, that girls shouldn't have cellulite, that girls should be toned and should go to the gym. And do you know, I actually watched Geordie Shore. I know not a lot of people watch Geordie Shore, but Holly Hagan, right?
Yeah.
I actually came across her Facebook this morning. And she was the first person to put pictures of herself in a bikini showing all of her cellulite.
Wow, okay. That's ballsy.
And she was like, do you know what? This is the first time I've ever done it, but cellulite isn't going away. And if we keep photoshopping it out, people are not going to realize that it's natural.
Yeah, I'm with you completely. I'm with you. It's a big step, to be fair. I mean, and that shows the difference because, like I say, and like you say, there is so much pressure on females, on young girls from a young age, from every single corner of the media, from men. And like for a dude, like it's okay. Like my nose is quite large. So when I first started making YouTube videos, I was like, holy shit, I've got a big nose. And then that was the end of it. I was like, that's okay. Don't worry, loads of people have got big noses. That's fine. But like if I was a girl, there'd be pressure from all sides. Why have you not had a nose job? Why are you not doing this? Why is this? Why is that? It's crazy. I find it must be so frustrating. Like I say, like having daughters really opened my eyes to the amount of crap that you guys take. It's nuts.
I think as well, to be fair, I look at it from both sides, right?
Yeah.
In the fact of, yes, there is a lot of pressure for girls, and I'm not saying that this is a good thing, but girls have makeup. Like we can actually make ourselves look a little bit better with makeup. I look at it from a guy's point of view as well, is that there is pressure there for a guy. You need to have a 6-pack. You need to have this. You need to have that. But they have no way of, do you know what I mean? Like, see me in the morning, I look like the Grinch. Do you know what I mean? Like, I look horrific. See, when I've put my makeup on, I look and feel completely different. And that is a confidence thing for me.
Yeah.
And I kind of wonder how guys get that confidence, because, you know, you have nothing to be able to, you know, change how you look.
Yeah. And it's an interesting question, that really. I know personally, I don't really pay that much attention. Like when you become a dad, that goes away. Like everyone's talking about dad bods now, so it's like cool. So I can just, you know, sink a couple extra beers. Dad bods are cool. That's the thing. Awesome. Okay. Like there is, I think that the kind of the world that we live in, the TV that we see all the time, the Towies, the Geordie Shores, the all the things like that. have just led to a deep unhappiness in people. I mean, personally, I don't let things like that get me down. Like I say, I'm pretty much what you see is what you get. So like I said to you before, oh, my nose is quite big. Never mind. It's all right. We'll just get on with it. Like, it's one of those things. And I think that if people worried a little, oh, this is going to sound deep and corny, but if people worried a little bit less about the outside and a bit more about the inside,
What's inside?
They'd be a lot more happy. And I know that that's just normally like that.
No, I completely agree. But I completely agree. We'd have nicer people too.
Yeah,
there would be less stuck-up people.
Yes, yeah, you aren't wrong. Everyone's got wonderful fake boobs and everyone's got a great smile and a six-pack, but they're all just rude and ignorant and lost. It's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what put me off the gym. see a lot of people, they're like, why don't you go to the gym? And I'm like, too many stuck-up people, and they're like, oh, right. And I'm like,
exactly.
So that's what puts me off. That's what puts me off.
That's quality.
Oh dear. So obviously you did mention that your next album is kind of due to drop around September.
Yes.
What kind of channels can we listen to the music on? I know obviously YouTube, but
yeah. So the main one that I market, I use Spotify a lot. That's why I use a lot to promote it. So my last album's on there. The singles that I've released, I've got a couple of singles this year. Released iTunes, Amazon, Tidal, pretty much anywhere that you buy music. If you just, and I hate telling people to do this, but if you Google me, it sounds so pretentious, that don't it? Just Google me. But
you'll see my net worth and everything.
They'll come up there. But yeah, iTunes, Spotify, everywhere pretty much that you get music.
Right.
Yeah, I'm looking at around September. I've got a couple of small things to tweak, and I want to see what Boris does towards the end of the month, because I've got a sneaky suspicion that he's just going to say, well, we can live like this for a few more months. So I'm going to see. I mean, that could work for me both ways. If he shuts the country down and everybody's sad again, they're all going to listen to my music and really enjoy it because they're already sad.
Good point.
If he opens it up, then I can actually do some performing live and make a little bit more money. So it's a win-win, really. We're looking at the positives of both sides.
Come to Scotland.
Yes.
It's all right. We'll get this sorted.
Amazing.
We'll cross you over the border.
Amazing. Just sneak me over, smuggle me in.
Yeah. No, that'd be quite cool though, because think about it, like how there's so much nice scenery in Scotland that you could use for your music videos.
Yes, you've sold me. Get me to Scotland.
I know.
Just send Nicola Sturgeon an email. Just tell her.
Yeah.
Know.
Just be like, listen, right? We need to get UK-Craigie over here. Mate, we're just about getting beer gardens open. You've got no chance.
That's crazy, isn't it? I know. Let's hope that Boris and Nicola sort something out. Otherwise, I'm going up the river. I'll just paddle my way up there.
Yeah. Trust me, if I was paddling anywhere, I wouldn't be up to Scotland. I'd be going to Spain or something. Just take me. But no, obviously, with it coming in September, yes, I would absolutely love to get you back on, whether it's just before the drop or after the drop, whichever way, because we can obviously promote it beforehand. But yeah, I know I didn't have loads of questions, but I think coming off the music side of things, obviously being a dad, how has that kind of changed things for you?
It's made me a lot more. It made me grow up, to be honest with you. It really did, and it made me appreciate things more. I got two daughters. One's 9, one's 6, and they're such a good age. I'm such a hands-on dad. They really are brilliant, and they teach me things every day. They teach me how to be better, and they're such a pleasure to be around. And I get them involved with the music. Like my eldest, she's always helping me film stuff, and the youngest, I've actually got them both on this next album. The eldest is doing like a little bit of backing vocals on a song, and my youngest, we were going to the chemist to pick something up for my mum, and she just starts busting out this song. She's just walking around, marching down the streets and skipping home, and I was like, "What is that? Hang on a minute, where's that from?" She's like, "I don't know, Dad, I just made it up." So I was like, "She won't go in front of a microphone."
Just get a book out. What did you say? Yeah, just give me a minute. Let me.
So she wouldn't go in front, she won't sit in front of a microphone and she won't record. So I had to literally just whip my phone out and I'm like, just sing it again, just in here, just pointing it towards the face.
It's all right. You're my daughter. Just say it. I don't have to pay you for it.
Exactly,
She just comes up when she's 15 and she's like, listen, see that song from 5 years ago that you used my lyrics for? I'm due some money.
Stop giving her ideas. You'll be planting the seeds.
I know. I'll just get a message later. I'm getting sued by my own child. Copyright.
Amazing.
No, but it's nice that you can get your kids involved in it. Do you know what I mean? And I've said this on so many previous podcasts, you know, it's nice to hear kids doing something like that instead of social media and phones and stuff, because, you know, social media is great in the fact that, you know, you can promote what you need to. I can do my podcast. However, social media is a big issue as well.
Absolutely. I think social media is good if there's a purpose behind it. Like the reasons you need social media, the reasons I need social media, it's great. It's fantastic. It connects you with people. It's great. But if you're just on social media, you can find yourself scrolling for hours. I've done it myself. Just sat there in bed at night, just scrolling, reading articles about nonsense and then falling down a rabbit hole in Google and just Googling the most obscure things that I can't see.
I know. I'm not being rude, by the way. Somebody said, is there a link for your music? So I'm just on YouTube, just trying to send it. So that's why I've literally got 2 monitors. I'm using my work monitor while I'm on here.
Nice. That's a strong flex. I love it. You're definitely flex. I've just got 2 monitors. Just slide that in there. I love it.
Oh, no. Do you know what? It's helped me so much. See, when I had like my uni assignments and stuff and like all my books were online, I had my book on one screen and me typing on the other.
Nice. I just find that massively distracted. I'd end up like watching football or wrestling or something on one monitor.
Oh no, that does happen. That does happen sometimes. It does happen. Especially when I had the music on the other night. I had an assignment and it took me 7 hours to do.
Oh,
7.
no.
Do you know what happened? I wrote it for 2 hours, reread the question, realized I'd wrote it all wrong, and then I had to start again.
Wow.
And I had music on, and it was just like a nostalgic playlist of like songs from 2010, 11, and honestly halfway through I'm just there like this and I'm like, I'm not getting anything done here.
That's cool.
But no, obviously I've put the link in the comments, guys, so definitely check out the YouTube link. As you said, you can get it on pretty much all channels. I know I'll be looking on Amazon Music, seeing as I've got that, and I've got Spotify, so
yeah, excellent. Take a look. The album there, I Can't Sleep, and then there's singles that I've released this year and a couple from last year as well. So yeah, definitely let me know what you think. I'm eager to hear your opinion.
Yeah, no, definitely. As I say, you know, I've definitely keep in contact because, you know, I've literally got this massive paragraph from you just being like, I'm never afraid to be different, and you know, just in that itself is such a good thing to hear, because so many people, like, I remember, and it still happens now, people are like, they just follow each other. They all look the same. They all say the same. They all sound the same. They all look the same. And, you know, even now, like, I say this to so many people. I'm like, I'm not a typical girly girl. Like, this is how funny it is, right? I hate pink. Absolutely hate pink, right? Yeah. My best friend loves pink. And obviously I went to get my nails done a couple of weeks ago, and the nail technician's like, would you like pink? And I just looked at her and was like, no. No, I wouldn't like pink. And she's like,
stand up, grabbing a chair and just
well, it was going to turn into WrestleMania if she didn't listen to me, right? So I was like, no, I want blue. And she's like, right, okay, blue. Do you want one nail pink? And honest to God, right, I just sat there and looked at her and was like, no, I don't want pink. And even my friend now, she winds me up like, my car's even blue, right? Because my favorite color is blue. And she's like, see, because I'm in your car so much, can I get a pink seat cover? Honest to God, I was about to stop the car, kick her out the car, and just let her walk home. I was like, how dare you? No pink. But that's like why I was so excited to have you on, because straight away it was, I'm not afraid to be different. I'm honest, which so many people are not honest nowadays.
True. It's very true.
So many people are two-faced, will lie. And it's just so nice. Like, I have this chat with my mum all the time. I'm like, honesty costs nothing.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You're not wrong at all. I feel like it's the only way to be. It's the only way to do things. You've got to be yourself, and you've got to be unapologetic for being yourself. Definitely.
Yeah. So I think, obviously, you know, it's really nice to hear that you're getting the kids involved, and, you know, that by the sounds of it, they're loving it as well.
Yeah, they are well into it. But
yeah, no, I think, as you say, there's been a lot that we've discussed. I know on here you obviously said that you appeared on the radio, the interviews around the world. How was it with your interviews in Australia and stuff?
Yeah, so basically, I have a friend on Facebook called Jimmy. He owns this website called Sense Media, and they were like, "We could review your album and put it on our website." They do all sorts. Like, he knows like one of the Wiggles and all sorts. Like, he's a well connected man. Imagine if I could get a feature from the Wiggles on my next album. How insane would that be? My
That would
kids
be
would
good.
love me.
I know.
So, yeah. So he said to me, he said, "We can do that." And then he was like, "I really like this album, so do you want to do an interview?" So we spent like an hour. The only thing that sucks at the minute is obviously because of all the restrictions in place all over the world. Like when I did media back home, when I did media in Liverpool, when I've had stuff going on here, it's all been online. Like, that's the only thing. Like, I'm looking forward to just being in the same place. Hey, you never know. By September, we might actually be able to have an interview in person. That would be so much cooler.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So yeah, that'd be excellent. So that's the only thing really. But yeah, it's just been wild. Like, a lot of people. I work with a fella. He handled the PR for my last album called Justin. He has a page. He runs something called La Vida Liverpool, which is like local news. So he got me in with like the BBC and all sorts, and all that ended up happening from there. And it was just mad. Like, I'm there like talking about this stuff, and I'm like, wow, I'm just some 31-year-old guy who moans about his problems and talks about his feelings a lot over like guitar. Like, this is crazy. This is so it's just been wild. It has been absolutely insane.
No, and honestly, with everything that you've discussed, you do genuinely deserve it. Like, for how hard you've worked to get it.
I really do.
Definitely hope. Obviously, I'm looking forward to the new album, Marcel.
Yeah, excellent. No, it is. It's really good. It's like it's more well-rounded. Like, we've got songs in there. A good friend of mine from the football club, he passed away last year. I'll just tell you a little short story. He had cancer, and he just deteriorated really quickly. Before he died, he said to me, he said, "Craig, I was so touched." He said, "I'd love for you to write a song about me and put it on your album, so we've got something to leave a legacy, something to leave." And I finished writing the song and I sent it to him, and I didn't know, but it was the day after he died that I'd finished it. So I sent it over. His wife loved it that much that she played it in the chapel. So when his funeral was taking place, my heart nearly exploded. So, like, all his family are there, and his coffin's there, and this song of mine that I'd made for him was playing. It was one of the most surreal.
That's amazing. I've actually got goosebumps. I'm sat here with goosebumps.
Honestly, it was just surreal. It was one of the proudest moments of my life. Just unreal. So we've got plenty of songs like that. There's so much feeling, and there's so much emotion, and yeah, it's a really, really strong album. It really is. I'm really excited to release it.
Yeah, no, as I say, I'm really sorry to obviously hear. I know a lot of us have obviously lost people. Yeah. Even take COVID out of it, obviously cancer is always a big one. But no, I definitely get, that actually did give me goosebumps. Like, as soon as you said that his wife listened to it and played it at the funeral, I'm like, don't cry.
No, honestly, it was something else. It really was. Just the craziest thing. Just the nicest to be able to do that with people. And that's why I always say, like, money is irrelevant. Creating moments, memories, a legacy that lasts, way longer than we ever will. That's my goal, to touch people's lives and to leave them with something, to help them through something. If somebody listens to my music 15, 16, 17 years old, and they say to me, "Oh my goodness, like, this has changed. This has helped me turn things around. This has helped me see a little more clearly." That's all I'd want. That means more to me than any cash or anything like that.
Yeah, and I think, as I said before, like, your music, like, even me listening to it, and obviously younger people listening to it, it's the fact that what you've written makes you genuinely feel like you're not alone. Yeah. And I think a lot of, obviously, mental health and even suicides is when people feel like they're alone. They've got nobody understands what they're going through. And I genuinely do think your music is going to make a huge difference.
No, I really do appreciate that.
No, but definitely. I'm gonna be sharing the two links that you sent me, because you sent one for the YouTube and one for Spotify, so they'll be going on after this podcast anyway.
Brilliant.
I've commented it on the podcast, but obviously,
Excellent.
to be fair, I've asked so many questions. I actually I don't know any more questions to ask.
Brilliant.
I don't know if anyone else has got any questions, but yeah, I think I'm definitely looking forward to getting you back on, whether it's before the release or after the release. There'll be a lot more questions, but I really do appreciate you
really
coming on.
No, it's been great. I really do appreciate it. I can see, I can see the potential in what you're doing, and I can see exactly, you're going to do great. You really are. This was really good. I've really enjoyed it. I can't wait to come on again. Hopefully we can do it in person. Fingers crossed. I can't wait to come.
Hopefully. We'll do it in a nice place in Scotland, though.
Yeah,
like I'll try and find a scenic place, but even bring the kids. Bring them all.
Yes.
We'll go to a park.
Brilliant. Sounds like a plan. Well, I really have enjoyed it. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's no worries. It's been really good to have a chat. Obviously, put the name to the face. Yes. But yes, I wish you the best of luck for the release. As I say, I'll probably be the first person to listen to it.
Amazing.
Except from the kids. Apart from that, we'll keep obviously in the loop on the messages. Guys, if you do have any questions that weren't asked in this, obviously either ping them over to me or we can store them all up when we have him back on.
Excellent. Sounds like a plan.
All
Well,
right.
thank you very much once again. I'm off to go and share this to 7,000 different social media channels.
Thanks.
And I will see you very soon.
Well,
really
just for you to know, one of my friends has put away to listen now the podcast is over.
Thank you very much.
All right, I'll speak to you soon.
Cheers, Megan. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.